Hello everybody, this is Simon with the Let's Play Mega Man Quantum. We of course get the choice of 4 robot masters now, or should I say star droids, because that's what they are. But as most of you probably won't know what to expect, I'm not going to bother with a too long introduction and just choose what I want to. Neptune is our first foe, and fittingly, he's water themed. Neptune being the Roman god of the seas, similar to Poseidon from the Greek mythology, of course. So, our fist. It is obviously not traveling the entire length of the screen, which is a huge nerve, though we no longer get knocked back like with the Buster in Quantum. It is a trade which is fair, I'd say. Love these guys, adjusting their cannon, so well done. And, okay, enough playing around. It is a fair trade and it makes for very, very interesting situations later on, and a huge part of why the design sometimes rewards deliberation a lot over, well, just constant action, as we're going to see. By the way, I haven't mentioned it, but have you noticed how in the intro Mega uses the Quantum Buster still? Which doesn't work against Terra? Very cool. This guy here is the perfect health for a mini-boss in my opinion. It is, I haven't counted, but probably 10, like most mini-bosses which are good, like Mega Man 3 ones for example have. And it is really not that hard to hit. This one is a little more, but it's fine, it's really fine. And it really shows off well the limitations of the new weapon we have, while also requiring a little thought, and it's not overly complicated. It is a very, very good one to start with, though with one special weapon we're going to get from Venus to be precise. He's an absolute pushover, and if you're having trouble with him, then just take another stage first. It's certainly not the worst idea. Now into the battleship or sub or whatever it is itself. I really like the stage progression, it makes a lot of sense and it is just so cool. Also, this is a good opportunity to show off our little cat buddy. Come on, Tango. This explosion will hurt you, by the way. Tango is sometimes a little dumb. I think he tries his best, as if we did here. This was pretty cool, though if he falls down a pit, well then that's it. And it can take a while to get used to using him, and most of the time it will still be kind of a crapshoot, but there are situations where he will really shine, especially against a lot of high health enemies. This inclusion of the animal body from the get-go might also be a big reason for why some of the enemies just have a lot of health and take a lot of getting killed, which I do not quite like, as said before, because you cannot always use Tango of course, but details. Also really like the water and how you can avoid shooting the cracks in the wall, which is a nice tutorial for these ones, which actually hurt you now. It is a very, very sensible stage progression and in-level tutorial, which I really like. Here too, the waiting time you can easily use to take out the bee, which is always going to fly at you. You are a little pressed for time here, but it gives you plenty to adjust to the situation in comparison to what we saw in Tertium, for example, where you just had to react within a millisecond. This, however, I do not like that much, because you just have to stand here and wait. It is really not difficult, it just takes a long while, and it seriously detracts from my enjoyment of the game sometimes. I feel that this is a valid complaint. By the way, water physics also for Tango, because this game is just that well done. I really, really like it. It's just these little details, it makes so much, really. The waterfalls also push you down, which is going to be far more evident in another level later on. We're going to see them. And now for the worst part of the stage, which really, really exemplifies the sometimes too long waiting periods of this game. This Mega Man 1 Elecman classic design is just not that good an idea, I'm sorry. If only our fist could grab these items right. We could of course fall down the left part of the screen, but that's just too tedious for my taste. After all, it would take far longer still to get back up, so screw it. You just have to hurry up a little, which is far better in my opinion. This long climb is just pointless, and I could really do without it. Back to more fun segments, though instant kill of course still not my favorite, but underwater physics and spikes, they have been married for quite a long time, and it is fine, it is good, it is not much, and coupled with a lot of clever enemy placements, I can really live with that. Again, with the waiting here, it's not too big of a deal as said, but it's just sometimes it gets on my nerves. This is an interesting juxtaposition of enemies and also a very clever trap at the very end with that spewer here. You really do not want to shoot it because you're just making your life miserable, and it's a nice question of have you really understood what this stage wanted to tell you? Obviously I didn't, but I also wanted to show it off, of course. Neptune is a good boss to start because he's an absolute pushover. What he does is use this attack and then hops to the other side very heavily patterned, with one thing you can control about it, mainly being how far away from him you are. Of course you can always be stupid like me, but now let's show off his second attack, which is basically you get away from him as far as possible and then he jumps and throws a little tantrum, which is very easy to avoid in my opinion. You can sometimes get tripped up by the bouncing, which Minakuchi really likes. They use it a lot in Quartum, but overall Neptune is really not a big deal. I still died to him in a test run, of course I did, because I'm kind of bad at this. Sometimes. You wouldn't know because I don't show that, however. The weapon get music from Tertium is still the best, but this animation, wow. I really like it, and I really put a lot of effort into that. Yeah, I mean, you definitely cannot fault Quintum for not having enough effort. Saltwater is a new weapon, of course all of the weapons now are original. Sadly enough, Saltwater is pretty damn bad. It's like Crystal Eye if Crystal Eye didn't bounce everywhere and had a strange arc instead of being fired in front, and also took far too much weapon energy. I'm still trying to find a use for it, and I did find a few uses for it, but it's not the best, definitely not the best. For now, thank you very much for your attention.